Actually, I made the whole stretch between Genova and Rome, except for a small part, which you will be having on now, which is actually one of the early prototypes. So actually, maybe I will start to tell how we are actually a whole release cycle looks like. So at first, this is during the previous DLC. So let's say when they were still building France, they were deciding which DLC to tackle next after France, and it was, I don't know when it was because it was before I joined the company, but I think somewhere in August or September it was already decided Italy was going to be next. So you have like 4 or 5 months before the DLC comes out, and then we already know what the next DLC is going to be. So at this point we've already started with the next DLC, but I am not going to tell what the DLC is because
There's already speculation.
There's already speculation, and I've seen some speculation on forums and that sort of stuff. Some people get it right, but there are so many different options that you don't. It's hard to see which one is actually the correct one. Even for promos, we already know what it is, but even then, don't watch what promos is doing because even then we can throw in red herrings here and there. For instance, with Italy, while we were fully aware that Italy was going to be next, we still updated some part of Italy just to throw people off.
Wait, you've been throwing in red herrings just to put people off from the next DLC?
Yes.
Cheeky.
Yeah, it's a bit cheeky. Yeah, so all bets are on. But okay, so a few months in advance before the construction of the DLC actually starts, we already know what the next DLC is going to be, and even before the release of the next DLC, we start with a process with what we call prototyping. So we build small sections of the map, so we get an idea what we need, and we stumble upon things along the way that we are missing, and the artists are already making some new models and that sort of stuff, because they don't have much to do in the last phase of a release cycle, where it's mainly bug fixing and maybe just refining, fine tuning. So during those last steps, we already start with the next DLC. And I think
apparently you just subscribed, but I doubt you did. So I'm wondering if somebody just gifted you a sub.
Yeah, probably I'm probably gifted a sub.
I think so. I think you just got gifted a sub.
The guy who did that, thank you very much. So, okay, so then we start. So the first phase is prototyping, and with Italy, I actually joined the company when they started prototyping, or they already had a few prototypes done. But another thing that's also being constructed during this phase are junctions. As you may see, is that there are quite some all junctions on the Italy map and also on the France map are completely modular, so they are constructed out of smaller pieces.
Did you just say that the junctions are constructed out of smaller pizzas? Because that's what it sounded like.
Well, you wish. One can
I do wish.
Dream. One can dream. One can dream. But yeah, we have those junctions are built out of smaller pieces, so we can fill them around a bit. But we have a few standard designs for each DLC. So France had their set of designs, and we want to have some new designs for Italy. A few of them are still copied from France, but most of them are new, and most of them are designed by me. There are a few custom junctions.
So you're a junction man, yeah?
Yes.
That's your speciality.
Yeah, that's my specialty. That's think one of my first jobs when I got here.
So some
So,
people are asking like who you are. So I mean, I don't
so
know if you want to explain it or I can explain it, but you know, you used to be a pro mods guy and now you work at SCS.
actually, I'm still a Promotes guy, but my main, I mean, my main job is now at SCS, so my time for Promotes is now quite limited. But I'm actually a Dutch guy, so I come from the Netherlands. But since November 2016, I started working at SCS in Prague, and I also moved to there, and it was quite a big step. But I'm quite settled in the here in the Czech Republic. I still do stuff for Promods mainly. Lately, I've been working on upgrading Promods to 1.30, so you will see very soon a patch, a new version appearing for Promods 2.25. It's compatible with the new patch and with the Italy DLC, but it's not necessary to buy the Italy DLC at this point. But please do, because for one part you are actually paying a part of my wages, and it's really a really good DLC as you can see. It's just much more enjoyable, even if you don't want to play promos. Definitely go buy Italy DLC. It's quite an experience.
So the version of pro mods that's going to come out soon, that's going to be a maintenance release for 1.30, yeah?
Yeah, and Italy DLC
Uh,
both at the same time.
but will it just work with Italy or will it require Italy?
It will. It will work with Italy. The thing is that the map is split up in sectors. So, like, I think it was 2 by 2 kilometers, square kilometers, uh, the sections, and we cut everything out from Italy, from the old stuff. So actually, all the stuff that's in Italy now is, for the most part, is just the sectors that SES delivers. So that also means the sectors where Italy is, the Italy DLC is going to be included. So you can just plug it in. It is like that. But for later versions after 2.25, probably 2.30, you will need the Italy DLC, not because of the mob sectors, but purely because of the new assets that are in there. And without new assets, then it wouldn't work. But the next version, 2.25, uh, you don't. The DLC is not required, but it's recommended to buy it anyway.
Right. So in the next version of pro mods, that you don't have to have the Italia DLC, but it'll work with
Ex-
it.
exactly.
Okay.
And it was the most customer-friendly option. And we actually were able to do that in this version, so that was nice.
Ooh, achievements unlocked. Many roads lead to Rome. One of 4.
Yep, that's one I proposed. I mean, it's it's such a well-known proverb. Why not add it in there? It was just laying around there.
I think I'll have to drop this trailer off and then sleep, and then we can see a bit Rome a bit
Yeah,
better. Because right now I can't see it very well.
yeah. So we're heading to the airport, and so so after prototyping has been done, then that's after the release of the DLC. Then the whole team was, at least here, the whole mapping team for ETS2 was focused on new mapping DLC. And then we started to build so-called layout maps. And layout maps are pretty much you build roads and you build a very basic landscape. You don't put any extra textures in there or any much detailing, just close holes. So that you have, and also sketch the landscape a bit and the vegetation so that you have some idea how it's going to look like in the end, but it's still a more sketchy phase of the development. And after those holes are being closed, then we start detailing this part one by one. Part of the team is put on cities, and another part of the team is put on roads. And basically, as a mapper, you will can state your preference, what you prefer, roads or cities. And in my case, that is roads. And with roads, I can pretty much build quite fast a lot of miles of roads, and with if quite some detail. I've seen some of my colleagues putting some more detail in some parts, but I am more. I'm faster, but maybe with less detail. And still like still like some of the cities my colleagues create, because I didn't do much on that front, and it's really nice to see how the cities turn out, especially when you see in the very early phases where you don't see much detail, and you just wonder how is this city going to turn out. And when you see the end result, it's really satisfying to see. There are definitely some gems in there. But yeah, so you have this detailing phase, and this detailing phase will take like 4 or 5 months or something like that, because that is where the big chunk of the work is being done.
So,
And
having decided what you're doing, I'm just trying to summarize what you're saying. Having decided what you're doing, you then prototype the roads in a very rough sketch. You just no details added. You just sketch the roads out and the major structures, I guess.
yeah,
And then it goes to the next phase where you just go in there and add loads of detail.
yeah, but you don't decide for yourself, because we have a few people in charge that are actually assigned the jobs to us, and we just have to keep on asking them back again if what job they're going to assign them to or any else, and they just keep track of who's working where and keep track of the time and that sort of stuff. So yeah, there is a layer above me that is organizing what I'm going to work on, and even
Ooh.
they have even they have to listen to some people, because there's the top layer, and that's with Pavel, and they're going to decide what
Smoke spreads.
things like what are we going to include and what are we not going to include, what DLC we're going next, and that sort of stuff. So the big decisions.
Sheep
But,
wool.
yeah. So yeah, after the detailing, actually then we start like optimizing and doing the final stuff and testing, and this may take longer than you think. It's I think we're basically done there at the start of September, but
6
there were a
minutes.
lot of optimization problems in some locations. Rome was quite notorious with optimization problems. Messina was quite notorious. There was a few other cities that were quite problematic with optimization, but especially Rome and Messina were pretty hard to optimize.
I'm listening. I've just got a lot of concentrate on as
And we
well.
have some special tools for that to detect problems, and we actually have a low NPC to test how the game works on a potato machine. So and that we let it run with automatically, and this will produce some kind of a log file that will say how much FPS it got in at certain locations, and that will help us with determining
Let's.
where the FPS heavy parts are.
Can we talk about Rome? Because we're about to approach Rome now.
Yeah.
So, did you work on Rome?
I did do some detailing in there, but not much. But when I was detailing there, most of it was already done. I did do the ring road, so the whole road around,
So,
right around, that was all done.
how many people does it take to build a city like Rome then in this game?
One or two, maybe three.
So is that how it works? Does like one or two people just focus on a city each or something?
Nah, it's you can only have one person working in the sector at a time, but
So how big is the sector?
2 by 2 kilometers in game, so the real scale. So they are pretty big. So I
So,
think it's,
if you've got different people working on different sectors, as you driving along and you go from one sector to another, how do you make sure it's all like consistent? Because different people are going to do it in a different way, aren't they?
yes, but yeah, you do see some differences in map style, but you really need to eye for it because you really need to know what what the quirks are of each person, and uh, there is a system in place in there that locks out sectors for other people who are working. So if you are working on this, if you are in game in the editor in the SCS, you can actually see which sectors are yours and the sectors that are not yours, that are for someone else. They are locked out and you can't edit anything in there. And this is usually this is quite okay, but it gets problematic at borders where your area stops and someone else's area starts. And and those are often zones that will be finished at the end because no one can access either side. So, but at least it works with preventing some problems with inconsistencies.
Cool. So, was there anything interesting about Rome? Is there anything I should go and see for sure?
Hmm. Well, the Rome itself is
Don't know, Blue
maybe not
Brothers.
the most thrilling to do. Everyone expects to see things like the Colosseum and that sort of stuff, but or the Vatican. But you don't come even near that. And if you look at really technically in the map
Ay,
editor,
ay, ay.
we really already have to cheat with space there. So we're actually creating with placing the cut planes strategically. We are actually creating more space than there actually is. But this only goes so far, and you can't get further into Rome.
All right. I'm
So
approaching my pickup point here.
yeah.
Did you say there's an airport in Rome somewhere?
The airport you just went to from you just came from the airport.
I didn't see a single plane.
Yeah, because the runway is quite far from that point, but you do see some tails from some planes.
The Leaning
But
Tower is
in real
not in
life,
Rome, it's in Pisa.
I looked up the area and it really
In
looks like
Florence
that, where
area.
you barely can see the airport at all. But there is a delivery point there.
Well, I completely missed that.
But
So, you don't work on the assets team, do you?
no, and that's both a blessing and a curse. So it is. Sometimes I just see something wrong, and I know I can correct it with some right tools, but I'm not allowed to. So sometimes it's like, eh.
That's it. That's not your job, you see, that's why.
Yeah. But on the other hand, it's not my job, so it's also not my responsibility.
Exactly.
So it uh, it it's just two sides of the same coin.
Ay, ay, ay.
So, but in problems, it's the opposite. I have the full responsibility there. So with asset creation, and so I have. So when something needs to be changed, I can do that. But on the other hand, people are dependent on me. So I'm pretty much one of the few experts that can work with prefabs, and if there's something broken, well, guess on whose plate that job is going to land on.
Right,
So,
before I take this trailer, I'm going to find some questions that have been sent in. So let me have a look. One second. Actually, I need to read a couple of messages. One sec. Cold 87 with a resume. King Awesome, you were always my favourite streamer YouTuber. Thank you. Funky Spaniel, can you please give me the Italia DLC for free? I've always wanted to subscribe, but I'm second-year students at UCL, spend all my money on accommodation and food. I'll be giving away some keys to everybody, Funky Special, so hopefully you can win one. But there's plenty of people who would like one for free. Hambone, 12, 14 months. No, how you've been going through a tough time, God bless. Thank you, Hambone. Funky Special.
Each country has a definition.
Thank you for 100 bits. Paul, can you please buy me the DLC for free? I've always wanted to join the Nut House, but I'm a student. No explanation needed. I'm giving away some free ones, Funky, so hopefully you can win one. McBone, is anyone else having problems with the new update 1.3? Oh, my brother gave me his trailer's job is gone missing. Dr. Dre, hope you don't mind to drag Mandelsoft in. It was a surprise, Dre. I did wonder how that happened. I was going to do it myself, but thank you. Then we've got WVU Mountain Man, 14 months. I had to take time off a hiatus, but now I'm back. Welcome back, Mountain Man. Flying Manticore. I feel like a baby compared to some of these subs, 3 months. Rufus Rough Cut, thank you for the resume. BCS. Microsoft ever wanted to get real companies into ETS? I doubt the Eddie Stobart would not be bothering for free advertising. It's a licensing problem, BCS. Thank you for 22 months, Bob. And Stylish Kitsumi, thank you for 18 months. Whiteland, I think this guy is from the same town as Thyrox. Whiteland scripting confirmed. Sorry, need to ask. Nope, it's not. It's not Whiteland. Not at all. Outrun and Darkness, thank you for the resume, guys. That brings me up to date. So now we can bring Mandelsoft back in. There we go.
Welcome back.
Right, so let's do this.
Shit.
Right. Let's. No swearing, please. Right. Let's take this job, which is in front of me. What's up?
Is it still connected, or is Discord playing games?
No, you're still here.
Ah.
No, I said I have some messages to read out, but then you carried on talking, so I just brought your volume down a bit. Sorry about that. But I had to read stuff out.
Yeah.
Right, where's Messina? Oh, why is it?
So, were there any questions?
That's interesting. That's weird. I just took a job, and now it's not here. Maybe it expired. That's weird. I had a job to Messina, didn't I?
So, were there any other questions?
Wasn't that one. Right, any questions, guys? Post your questions in chat for Mandelsoft. There it is. I don't know what happened. You have a delivery pending. You must finish it before starting another one. Wait, what?
If someone is going to ask about what the next territories will be, or if S is going to do this or that, I am not allowed to answer. Sorry.
This is weird. Random events. They're asking, are they in 1.3? I think the answer is no.
There are no random events in Eurotruck later 1.30, and I think the cause of that was that we need random events for each country, and so we need to.
Oh yeah, I'm being
need
derpy.
to
Sorry, too many things to
adjust
focus
some
on.
models there and that sort of stuff, and that's something that's.
It's round the back, Grandad.
In America. Also, Paul, maybe the trade is on the back of the.
Yeah, I've got it.
Floating bit.
I was massively confused then. I was like, because it wasn't showing it on the map because I was already here, and it wasn't in front of the depot. I was like, where the heck is the trailer gone? Are you happy with the way Italy DLC turned out?
Happy anniversary.
Quite happy. Yeah, some people are complaining that there is no Sardinia and that sort of stuff, but you may not know this, but in the very early plans where they were still deciding which cities and we're going to include, there was points that Sicily was not on the map. So Sicily was a later addition when before we really start building, but in earlier phases we thought Sicily maybe took more time than we actually had, but I'm glad that we were wrong about that. Actually, this was the first DLC that we actually delivered on time. All other DLCs were too late, but we planned to do this DLC within a year, and we managed to do that. And not even that, but we also managed to do this. Do all let's say low priority roads we planned. So roads that were considered as nice extras, but not necessary. But
I guess it's hard to finish a map, isn't it? Because like you can always sit there and go, oh, if I just go and put some more detail here, go and put some more stuff in there, I'm not happy with this bit. It must be really hard to say, well, that's finished now.
oh, there's a bug here, there's a bug there. Oh, this bug is still not fixed. Now you have to
Sliding gates with beacons.
cut off at some point.
Happy anniversary.
So these sliding gates thing, that's a new thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a new thing.
Because that one's got beacons on it.
Yes, and that's a nice new feature of this DLC.
Is that the main difference between the official one and the mod? Is that it's got beacons on the gates?
Ah, could be, but
I wonder if you can drive through it while the gates are still open. Because with the mod, it drops an invisible wall down, doesn't it? Like
yeah, it could be that.
you can't drive into it until the gates have completely opened.
Yeah, it could be that's also the case here.
I'm going to be so late. We're rerouting around the entire universe.
Happy anniversary.
Another thing, yeah, some people may ask if Sardinia is ever going to come. I don't know when it will come, but it is possible that SCS is going to do that, because it wouldn't be the first time. But I can't give you any guarantees or any points about that. But we've already seen way in the past that Austria and Hungary got a free expansion, if anyone remembers that. So I think like the Bretzen, Graz and Klagenfurt were not in the base game. Even Venetia was not in the base, was not from the start. But they added it later on. That's a free expansion. So it's not ruled out that if that's going to happen. But there are no guarantees.
NCFS, I'll be starting to edit that this week.
To some extent, Corsica could also have the same flavor, but I think if there's going to be a free Sardinia expansion, you probably will need Italy DLC, and for Corsica, the France DLC. But that's just speculation on my end.
You can't answer questions about ETS on console, guys. You just wouldn't be allowed to say.
Can't tell.
Yeah, I mean, these questions about, you know, is it going to come on console and all that, I've just tried to explain that you wouldn't even be able to answer that even if you knew the answer. It's just a pointless question.
Right. At some point, I'm not able to answer because I'm not allowed to, but also I just don't know. So I have quite a few over how this project is going to work, but not about everything. So main things about, let's say, I have very little overview over what's happening over at the ATS. So I don't know much what's happening over at American Truck Simulator.
You're a soldier on the ground, that's why. You're not an officer.
Yes, exactly.
You just get told.
Yeah, there is one advantage I noticed from having background from the modding community, and that is that because I am involved with mods, I actually had to be confronted with more parts of the trade, like modeling and that sort of stuff. And when there's a bug occurring or something else strange is happening, I generally have a better idea what's going on than most of my colleagues with mapping. So, but then again, I can't really do anything. What about it?
It feels weird driving around Italy in the summer right now because it's cold outside.
Yeah, it's getting dark soon.
I did think about putting a winter mod in, but I just thought we can't really do that. I need to see this map as it was meant to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, here in Prague it's getting dark at 4 o'clock, and it's way too early for my fashion.
Yeah, but you'll like it in summer.
Yeah, but usually in summer I'm somewhere else.
Fair enough. Thank you, Baconator, for subbing. Mr.
Yeah,
Whiteland, what's up with the lack
Prague
of
is nice
Sisu
and
trucks?
bendy, but
Don't know.
you do get enough of it, and you do want to go somewhere else. And in my case, just visit my parents in the Netherlands, because I don't see them a lot. As a question, will seasonings go in ETS2 or ATS? I have absolutely no idea.
I think the questions, guys, will be better aimed at the Italy DLC rather than things like when is, you know, we're going to do rigid trucks, when is this coming out, we're going to go to console. Like, he can't answer those questions. Just try to stick to Italy DLC and that kind of thing, and things that you can answer. Snowing in ETS2, that would be nice.
There are some planted games that are not in Italy DLC. How does SES prioritize cities?
You've gone quiet now.
I see. Well, someone asked about how SES is going to prioritize cities, and usually this is planned far in advance with industry ports that are there, or maybe seaport. And there's quite some discussion about it, which city to include and which not. For instance, there was one point that Firenze was not going to be in there because it was a nice city, but not really an industrial main port. But I'm glad they got it back in there again. But yeah, a few other cities were also added later on, like Casino and Parma. They were not in. They were one of the latest additions that they put in the plan, and it was Perugia, which is not in this map, was being exchanged for Tani. So early plans were looking quite different, and these plans were really subject to change.
I just noticed when I approached the toll booth, there was no speed limit change.
There should be.
No, it was on 80 all the way through it. So normally when I come to a toll booth, they drop the speed, don't they?
Yeah, that's a bug. It should be dropping to 50 with signs. So it's good. Also, if you take the next exit, you have that nice cliff village I was talking about earlier.
Oh, this southern thing here. What's that sound? It's like a delivery point. Is there anything there?
Yeah, there is a really nice scenery town there. There are 2 delivery points, but
Is it worth looking at?
yes, certainly.
Alright, we'll get off for the next junction then.
Yeah, it's for me it's the pinnacle of my map of my mapping abilities in this DLC.
Oh, well, you did this bit.
I did this bit.
Well, you would say it's worth looking at then, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but you will see why.
Okay.
But
Chills with her yet? Nope.
I actually did this whole stretch up to the junction of the A30, so the A1 and
I know, Dave, I know. I think he must have a headset that's picking her up. Does the DLC have pizza and pasta rest stops? And is it limited, little uncredited secrets like in ATS? Oh, that's a good question. Are there any Easter eggs in this map?
Very few, but there are a few ones. I'm not going to tell them what they are, because you have to find them yourself. What's the fun in telling what Easter eggs are if you?
No, I didn't want you to say where they are. Just are there any? Was the question.
So yeah, short answer: yes.
Paul, the squirrel hat came in handy. It's quite chilly over here. No pun intended.
We had a mapping team of about 10 people, but the mapping team can't really do much with assets, so there's also an asset team of also 10 people. We both built all the models and made all the textures and that sort of stuff. And there are a few, I think 5 people that worked on vehicles. So things like cars and trains you'll see. And there are some nice vehicles in there. It's like we have a new fire truck. We went out an exotic racing car, and we have
Fire truck, nice.
an exotic race car. And you see that I think we also that race car is also available as police.
Right, I'm going towards your little bit of the world now.
Yeah.
The bit that you modelled.
Yep.
The pinnacle of Mandelsoft mapping.
Yeah. Yeah. There is. You have always this little bit of map you are especially extra proud on. But is it the best part of the DLC? I think there are a few parts better, but this is the best part I created.
Is this it? It's like Village on the Hill.
Yeah, the village on the hill. So
This is pretty cool.
yeah.
I need a photograph.
Yeah, it's already featured in a few promotion shots.
That's very Italian, that view.
Yeah. Was there a limit to the number of cities that could be made for Italy DLC? There's not an exact number, but it was like, okay, we're going to complete this in a year. How many cities can we include in there? I think the current number was like 20, and that was about.
Oh,
I don't know.
Aprilia. Aprilia's a motorbike manufacturer. This little town's called Aprilia.
So, yeah, but even yeah, there are some small towns on the map like this. This is Artena, and they are not on the map, and they often are linked to bigger cities. But there are quite a few of these small towns in there. It was quite fun to actually give them some names. In the front DLC they also have some names like I think there is even one sign pointing to Cap. But yeah, I wanted to continue this in Italy DLC. I basically did all the signs in this DLC. And Italy, man. Why did you just have to pick the worst design in Europe?
We're at the end of the thing here. So this is by the coast. Can we go to the coast or not?
No, certainly not. But there's only a chemical plant there.
In Aprilia. Alright, so just U-turn here, yeah? The roundabout.
Okay, someone else. What's your favorite city in the DLC, Mansoft? That's a hard question. Well, I think I have 3 in a non-particular order. I think my 3 favorite cities are Ancona, Napoli, and Messina.
Well, we're going to Messina.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through Napoli as well. All the way down to Messina.
Yeah, I will just follow up for some more questions.
So you love the road signs in Italy, don't you?
Yeah, I love to hate them. Is the Colosseum in Rome? Nope. You just can't get close enough to see it.
The Colosseum is in
It's
Rome.
just like the Eiffel Tower.
You can't go
in
to it in the
Paris.
game.
The parts that are modeled in Paris, you generally don't see the Eiffel Tower in real life either. So, and that's a bit of a problem with some of these Italian cities, is that you don't get too close enough to see the monuments. because they are often in city centers where trucks usually don't go, far from industrial areas. And that's a bit of a problem. So the monuments are at different locations, or different kinds of monuments are picked. Some of the lesser known ones.
Which is worse, Spanish or Italian road signs?
Italian, by a mile.
By a mile.
Spanish road signs, they clutter up their route numbers way too much, and sometimes there's overhead signs get messy. But Italy, they can get messy, and they have the worst logic. Another one that's really bad in Europe is Austria, and if you see Austrian signage in your trucks number 2, they are way too clean. There's not much information, because if you've ever seen Austrian signage, they really stuff it with information, way too much, and all over the place. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, they don't seem to appreciate that when you're driving along, you need to have like big signs that are very clear about where you go, not loads of detail. You can't stop and read it.
Yeah, someone once said the art of signage is to remove things. So you only leave what's necessary.
Yeah, I know Mafia wants on Steam.
So
Well, I think it
yeah,
doesn't have the music
yeah,
or
Italy
something.
is bad. Austria is bad. Spain is pretty bad, and Slovakia is now trying to copy Austria, so that's also getting that.
We are heading towards Napoli now, so we just left. Just left a little place called Aprilia, and we're just going down the road to Cassino,
So
then
how
down to
bad
Napoli.
are Slovene road signs? They're not bad. They stopped with a lot, but it's stacked on top of each other, so it's still somewhat easy to overview, but it's still too much. It would be one of my favorites if it weren't that stuff.
Oh boy. Right, have we got any more questions for Mandelsoft, guys? Yeah, Cassie knows where you place your bets. Lol.
Maybe it's a bit risky to go there.
So how many cities are in the DLC then?
Let's see, we have, I have Carna, Bologna, Parma, Genova, Livorno, Cassino, Rome, Roma, Terni, Firenze, it's mine already, Napoli, Barbie, Pescara, Messina, Leadership, Giovanni, Catanzaro, Catania, Palermo. I'm missing a
Thank you
few.
for summing Blade
I'm
DK87.
at 70
Much appreciated.
now.
Welcome to the house.
I think I that covers it. Technically also Milano, because that was also completely renewed.
Yeah, you kind of rework, but they're not in the DLC technically because you get those for free.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot Livorno. I forgot Livorno. So that's technically 19 cities that have been worked on.
19 new cities.
Oh no, 20. I forgot Toronto.
So 20 cities. How many kilometers of road has gone in?
According to Max, it was 11,500 kilometers.
Wow.
That's being represented.
That's a lot of road.
Yeah, that's still a lot of it. The front DLC was 13,500, so only 2,000 kilometers more. But
That's not bad considering it's a lot smaller space, isn't it?
yeah, it's much tighter. I think France is more spread out, sparser than Italy.
Chilly Willy, sorry I missed that. Hello Paul, squirrel hat came in handy. It's been quite chilly over here.
Even
So I have
if
read that. Thank you,
drive
Chilly.
on long roads, you see
I did
these
read
junctions
that.
on Italian roads, and they have a different kind of flavor than, for instance, the French ones. Italy ones are like Tyler or where you're just driving at the casino, you have these folded trumpet things. So when you have trumpet junction, but the tail to the roadside is a bit forward away towards the motorway again,
It's not
where the toll
multiplayer now.
booth is.
You can tell if someone's playing
And
multiplayer or not, because you'll see
and
AI
we would like
vehicles.
to have some different designs in different regions.
Right, I've gone off-road here, so now we're going
You asked me
towards
around, like
Casino.
someone said, you
Welcome
asked me to remind you about this. Why small cities like Cesaro and Casino and no bigger towns and nothing through the Veneto Girona region? Well, some small cities are being picked for certain kinds of industries. Casino has been picked because there is one big car factory there. I think it was Alfa Romeo.
I think I'm approaching it now.
Yes. There's also a funny story about how the company is named. Well, at one point we were asked to come up with new names for the companies, and most of these abbreviations like PIAC or CMP, they actually mean something in Italian. PIAC is one of my names I came up with. When I was looking at real companies that were existing, we have Fiat, and Fiat is actually a abbreviation of Fabbrizione Industriale Automobili di Torino, so the factory of the industry factory for cars in Torino.
Oh, is that what
So
it's called, PIAC then?
PIAC is then Produzione Industriale Automobili Casino. So it means the car factory in Casino, literally.
Right.
So it actually makes complete sense. And there are more of these names in there.
A sneeze.
Yeah, that's why, for instance,
Oh dear.
Casino is in there. And Cesara actually had a small truck factory in Cesara, so that's why Cesara is there. But some bigger cities just don't fit because they would either take too much time or they are too close to other cities.
If you're on about
For
Mount
instance,
Etna,
considering
it'll be
the
in there.
scale. And there is one region where we hadn't put any
Or
city
Vesuvius,
there.
sorry.
It was I think you mentioned it was the Friuli Venezia region. So in the northeast corner, and is because it's part of the base map, and that gets technically quite tricky to build anything new in there because then you have to do some really finicky stuff with file management, and that's something we don't want to do at this moment. So we may. It could be that we want to add Trieste whenever a Balkan DLC comes. We just don't know. There's no decision about that yet. But that's the only option where we get new content in there, and
19 cities, not 20.
because otherwise it would get too tricky.
Right, we're leaving Casino now.
Do you see more realistic tracking companies coming into the game that future patches? Well, that is kind of this licensing stuff, legal stuff. That gets pretty complicated, and I actually don't know how exactly it works, but I do know that this is not as easy as it seems, or not as straightforward. Although I hope when other truck companies see the Scania model, they may be convinced to get their truck in the game, because now Scania is first with such a high quality model, and maybe other truck companies.
They're all different though, aren't they, these truck companies? Some are bothered about being in the game and some are not.
Yeah, one can hope, but yeah.
I tell you what, I don't like their slip roads being 40 kilometers speed limit. It's just really annoying.
That's Italy for you. They do it everywhere.
It's just horrendous.
It is just this. Question, you said there are freight trucks added only in Italy, or are they added in every other country? I think they are making more skins for it, though I don't know how far they have progressed. If you had to pick one thing to change, what would it be?
One thing to change. That's such a difficult question.
I think one of the top of my list would be rebuilding Germany, but when that will happen, we don't know.
You've always wanted to rebuild Germany though. But
Oh yes.
I'd want the UK doing first, lol.
UK would be the second on my list.
Yeah.
So it's pretty high on my list, but let's see. Also, for the people who are waiting for promos to be compatible with this new patch, it will be compatible very, very soon.
Do you hear that? Pro mods will be compatible very, very soon.
Let's say the release is imminent. Trademark.
Aye, aye, aye.
Is there a famous game in map scenery? Oh yes, there are even achievements for that.
The name's Ram. Thank you for 1,000 bits. Thank you, very kind. The name's Ram. With the Mr. Destructoid 1,000-bit icon.
Let's see.